I mean, you guys can say that. We are live. All right. Dominate your business, dominate your trade, dominate your life. It's been too long. Been too long. Man, we got big Anthony James in the house. Charlie Ingle from outside of Dallas, Texas. What's the name of that cute town you live in, Charlie?
McKinney, Texas.
McKinney, Texas. Man, I like that neighborhood. It was really nice. I don't know, man. Let's get busy. We only have an hour, maybe an hour and 10. Anthony's got a big meeting that he cannot miss. But hey, I just wrote down some stuff, and we can go in any direction you guys really want to go in. I want to get more and more into freaking politics and I don't know how it's just a different world than when I was growing up. But I want to talk about, is the construction slowing down? I made a post about Taylor Swift not a couple of minutes ago. I want to talk about Napoleon Hill and the Rocky story. I want to talk about RFK, both with his run for the presidency and just what he announced earlier. I want to mention Vivek Ramaswamy, Mike Pence, Tucker Carlson, Andrew Tate, what Florida's trying to do with the COVID shot, and some horror stories from the job site. Yeah, man. So everybody knows Anthony, Sunshine Design and Build out in Boise, Idaho, and everywhere, really. Shit. Oregon, Washington, Nevada, California, and Charlie Ingle. Charlie, what's the name of your company?
It's Renaissance Hardwood Floor Polishing and Maintenance.
Yeah, so
It's a mouthful.
And Charlie is a good guy to connect with because there's just, it's like there's some shit to getting old, Charlie. We've been there, baby. I mean, when you can get old and go through it and survive, you get to talk shit and you have history to back it up. And
especially in the floor business.
Yeah, man. And Charlie's been successful for a long time to where now when people ask me about you, I say, I don't know about that dude. I consider him semi-retired, meaning he only works because he fucking wants to get out of the house and have something to do. He's not doing it for the money anymore. He's doing it because he likes doing it, and he's not going to say no to the money. But yeah, I mean, if you didn't go to work tomorrow, you'd be fine. And I know you're helping a couple other guys. One thing I've pushed on Charlie, and it's just more work than he wants to do, is I almost wanted him to train someone to just take over the friggin' business and keep a percentage forever, or even sell it. Because at one time, no matter how much he likes doing it, he's going to move up to friggin' Taos, New Mexico, and just hike every day and F all of the construction industry and everybody around it. And someone's going to miss out. But that is work that he doesn't want to do. And at this age, I don't blame you, brother. There's a lot of shit I could be doing, but I'm like, no, just no. Anyway, what's up, guys?
Brian, are you and Charlie about the same age?
I think so. Charlie, how old are you?
I think I'm 1 year older than you. I'm 50. I'm about to be 60. I'm 59.
Yeah. So I'll be 59. So yeah, but he looks younger. So damn him. hey, I just had coffee delivered. Hold up your glass, Anthony.
It's a little bit of scotch.
Yeah, he had that bottle earlier. Me and Anthony played golf Saturday morning early.
Yeah, that was fun, man. I was good to see you.
Yeah,
that was cool.
And I was going to race into town and try to do a podcast from Anthony's office. But the longer I drove on some of these days, the wife is like, "Why are we in such a hurry?" And I'm like, "Shit, I couldn't tell her that. I'm trying to get," because she's like, "Who you got to meet? Who you got to meet?" And I'm like, I ain't got to meet nobody. Relax. It's just, I thought, man, I didn't want to push it. So, hey, let's start with the whole construction slowing down, because Anthony's a general contractor. Charlie, you've been in this as long as I've been in it, so you've been through the ups and downs like I have. This one is different. I'm not saying that it's slowing down, but I don't think ever I was going back and forth with a buddy of mine that's down in the Louisiana area, but and we were talking about recessions, and I said never, like, this one is different. I try to look back through my history of the coming into construction during the Carter years, right before Reagan took office, and then the Clintons and all the ups and downs and the 2008 crash and stuff. And this one is different because never in history, I don't think they've ever told men to stay at home and we'll send you money. And now that people are trying to get back out and get to work, and everything is seems to be topsy turvy, people think that just everything is slowing down, I guess. Yet, friggin' Taylor Swift is on a concert right now that's going to break all records and probably end up profiting $1.4 billion. Tickets are going for over $2,000 each. And you're not just buying one ticket. You're getting a pair of them or 4 of them or 6 of them. So somebody's got money and they're spending it. What do you think? Either one of you.
So, this is the first I've heard of this Taylor Swift thing. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, her big concert.
I don't want to hear anything about Taylor Swift.
Her world tour right now is projected to do 1.2 or 1.4 billion dollars. Tickets are average ticket is $2,000.
Why is she charging so much and feeling like she can get away with that because people are willing to pay it?
Yeah, I mean, as a contractor, I'm trying to charge as much as I can and have people pay it. And I got guys, in some of these groups mad that you can't charge that much. And I'm like, well, if they'll pay it, I can charge that much. so I'm telling you,
you might not be able to charge that much.
And that's the thing, I guess, is she's got a mind control over some of these young girls that is mind boggling. They're screaming and crying and threatening to kill themselves if the parents don't buy the tickets, and the parents are buying the tickets. And like I said, you're not buying one ticket for $2,000 or $4,000. You're buying friggin', 2 tickets or 4 tickets. So, you can go in a group. And I'm sitting there going, shit, what is that? $2,000 minimum. You're looking at $8,000 for a 4-pack, and then whatever. And then the stuff that you're buying there and the t-shirts and everything else. I mean, you're out the door for $10,000. You can, you can almost damn near remodel a bathroom for that. You can definitely get your floors cleaned or refinished or paint a house. So
for 10 years.
Yeah. So, and my whole thing was this, and it's always been this. If you look at the recession, like, the whole depression during the 20s, people were still buying and selling stuff, houses and building everything. People are always spending money. As a contractor, I'm telling other contractors is, they're going to hire someone. So there may not be 20 people looking for one contractor. It may be 8 people looking for one contractor. You need to be that contractor that they're hiring. You need to be that one that they're calling to do the floors. You need to be that painter. You need whatever it is. But even during 2008, I've seen a lot of contractors go out of business. Most of them shouldn't have been in business. And that's what I tell this dude earlier on Messenger. I said, it's not bragging when you tell someone, oh man, I'm real busy right now. I'm booked up. Because everybody in the industry is real busy right now and booked up, and you were the only one that said yes to the job that the homeowner called. It's when everybody or a lot of people in your industry is sitting there scratching their teeth, hair, going, man, what the hell? Like, the phone's not ringing, this and that, and you're booked up. That's something to brag about. If it's so busy that you're getting leftovers, that's nothing to brag about. And there's just a lot that you have to do before we get out of here. I'll come back to it, but have things slowed down for either one of you?
Brian, on that note, one of the things, like this is some overreaching thing that I hear a lot about, like all the time. Everyone's talking about. I've had multiple people come to me lately asking me, like, hey, how did you get such a big, market exposure, like so fast? And like, ultimately, I didn't do it fast. It just seems fast because you weren't paying attention to me, right? But
yeah.
What I'm really driving at. What I'm really driving at, though, is I've had multiple people, like just in the past 3 weeks, actually mention to me, like, oh, the market's going to take a big turn, and like that's what it's what everybody's saying. You see it on the news, you see it everywhere. It's like the sky's going to fall. Everybody, be careful. Watch out. The sky's going to fall, and that's what leads me to believe that it's not going to.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just me, because it's like you had all these people saying this shit, and I don't know. I'm just not buying it.
I'm not buying. And Charlie, you're in a different position anyway, because your business is you've got clientele that you've had for years and years. And
I've got a base of regulars that are some are quarterly. I have a few that are monthly, but mostly they're either semi-annual or annual. So I've got a little over 700 regular clients that I schedule throughout the year, and then take on as many new as I can. I've started sending some work out to Sean and and Chad, because I just can't get around to everybody. And if I take a look at it, it looks like I'm going to have to sweat too much, I'll send it to those guys, because I don't want to work. I don't want to have to work too hard. So if it's very involved, they're young and they want to work. I mean, they want to. Yeah. They want to get to eventually where we are.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the homes that you work in, though, man. It's a high clientele. Those guys ain't ever going to be broke.
Well, remember that neighborhood that's just a block or so from me with all the stone? That's Adriatica. And I would say of my regulars, I've probably got about 200 in that neighborhood of about 500 homes.
Yeah.
So, and they're all $1 million up to about $9 million homes.
Yeah. And I growing up in North Carolina, most of my years were spent in a trailer. And I always thought, man, if I could get a double wide trailer, shit, I'd be rich. That'd be the mansion. My sister lives in a trailer now in Pocatello, Idaho. Most of my relatives and stuff. So I'm not knocking trailers, but you don't want to go. Your business doesn't want to go to the low end trailer parks and start passing out flyers about cleaning and waxing either hardwood floors or even their linoleum, because they don't have the money. And like Anthony right now, over these last 3 to 5 years, like the guy saying, hey man, how'd you get to where you're at like so quickly? Well, one, it wasn't so damn quickly. And would you want to go through the freaking headaches that I went through for the last 3 to 5 years to get here? And most of the time, the answer is no. People talk a big game about what they really, really want out of life, but their actions show what they really want out of life.
Right. Well, I will have to say I'll work anywhere, but the folks with the least expensive homes, typically they're all price shoppers, and I give my number up front after they've sent me the initial contact, and so if they go, holy crap, that's more than I can spend, I would rather them find out in that first email, rather than me having to go out and take a look at it. Tell me no now. Don't tell me no when I get to your house. Yeah. If it's about numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
That pre-qualification game is paramount, man.
It is
paramount.
So anyway, we'll come back to the whole is construction slowing down and the whole marketing. Hey, since we are here, and Charlie, I'll let you go first, and then I got a story or two, and see if Anthony comes up with one. As a business owner and hiring either subcontractor or even employees, man, the shit that we got to put up with that people don't understand sometimes. And you mentioned like Anthony, what was that alcohol that you were giving to someone? What was it?
Remy Martin, King Louis, King Louis the 13th cognac.
So and I'm not a big alcohol guy, but I suspect it was more than Mad Dog 2020 or.
So this was a very affluent client who the original tag on the job revenue was about 370. And by the time it was all said and done, they added an additional $500,000 to the job. And in addition because of that, and so his whole thing was his whole house. He's the old McCormick Spice House here in Boise. It's French contemporary, right? Yeah. So I was in his basement, and he was showing me his speakeasy. Like he's got a whole like nightclub in his basement, right? And I was like, I said, Dr. Beasley, I said, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, like, all this fine cognac up here, why don't you have a bottle of King Louis? And he goes, well, they want $5,000 a bottle for that down at the liquor store. He goes, I suppose if I spend enough money, I'll have to buy you a bottle. I was like, well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Beasley, you spend enough money, I'll buy you a bottle.
I'll buy the bottle. So then Charlie seen you post that, and Charlie, so one of Charlie's employees, tell us the story, Charlie.
Well, I had a guy that worked for me that at one point he was very wealthy. Family came from a wealthy family, so he knew what Louis was. Yeah. So he fell on hard times. I put him to work just so he could live. And so I would typically drop Murph off, and I would go look at jobs, and I'd come back and help him finish. So one of my clients that I had done work for this lady's aunt, and for maybe 20 years at the time. And we got the job, and they met us out there on the weekend, and he said, you guys can have anything you want. But he didn't mean we could drink up all the liquor. So we were out. It was some walnut, Brazilian walnut, that I installed on a herringbone pattern. So Murph would be out there working, and sometimes I would be there, and then I would have to run off and look at jobs, and I'd go back and help him finish. We get done, and it's time to pay. And I call the guy and say, hey, we're complete. I know you're out of town. Just let me know when you get back. So he does. When he gets back, he calls and he asks me what I know about fine drinking. Ice cold Coors Light, I guess. I said, I don't really drink wine or anything like that. And then he asked me if I ever had heard about the cognac, that Louis stuff. And I said, I have no idea what it is. So he said, well, come out and pick up the check. He said, we'll talk for a little bit and have a few beers. They lived on the lake.
Yeah.
And so I get out there and he shows me the bottle and where it's supposed to, let's say, this is the bottle. And it was here when we got there. When he showed it to me, it was down to here.
Oh, shit.
And
that Charlie, that bottle itself is actually
about $600. It's Waterford Crystal, right?
Yeah, the bottle, just the bottle itself.
Right. Oh, he told me he said the bottle is worth about $600 by itself.
Damn.
So, and I think at the time, I want to say it was around $3,800 for the bottle. So I just paid him for the bottle, and I took it. Now I'd made quite a bit of money on the job, but
yeah.
So Murph, thank goodness, he got paid every other Monday, and I'd gone to see them on Saturday, and I figured out if I tried to figure out if I owed him anything, and I did not. So I just pulled the bottle out of a bag and said, "Here's your pay." My understanding is that bottle's about $600, and he never said a word. He just looked at me, picked it up, walked out of back then we had a ranch house out in Bottom, so he just picked it up, walked out, and I never heard from him again.
Damn.
No, I nearly passed out when I realized that there were actually liquors that cost $3,000, $4,000. It was wild. So no, I wanted to choke him, but luckily I continued to do work for them, maintaining the floors for years to come until they had passed away a couple of years ago.
Anthony, any stories like that?
What's that?
Any stories like that? Any horror stories?
Not necessarily so much like that. That's pretty bad, man. I mean, the reason why that stuff is so expensive is because it's actual French hillside cognac, which is champagne, and it's aged on average about 60 to 80 years, anywhere from 40 to 100 years.
Yeah.
So that's why, and then it's in that Waterford crystal bottle. So that's why it's so expensive. But that's just fascinating. You never heard from him again?
Huh?
You never heard from him again?
Well, he had to come out. Again, we had a ranch, and he had a bunch of stuff that he had left out. He didn't have a house big enough anymore to put everything in. So he was storing a lot of his really nice furniture and all out in my barn. So he had to come out with another guy and pick it up. So I made sure to sit out there and make sure that none of my items went with them when they left. But no, he didn't even speak. He just had the guy come to the door and he said, "Hey, we're here. Can you open the gate?"
Yeah.
Brian and Charlie, I mean, I've got some stories, but nothing that even comes close. I mean, ultimately, I've just had a bunch of idiots work for me in the past. But
I
can't top that one.
I had a homeowner call us once and say, "Hey, think one of your guys, stole a check out of our book and cashed it." And I was like, "Well, no, that ain't gonna happen." And they said, "Well, do you know this name?" And they mentioned the name, and it was sure enough, it was one of the guys that worked for me. And I was like, "God damn, he ain't even smart enough to use someone else's name." And it was like $236 or something stupid, and signed it and cashed it. And I was like, "Hey man, press charges on this guy." And it's like, "No, this is probably 88, 91 or something." And he wouldn't. He just wanted me to be aware of it. And I was like, man. But I don't know. Over the years, I've and I'm not saying anything bad. I'm throwing stones at anything, but for a lot of years, probably over the last 30 years, we've hired probably 200 people, 200 guys from like the halfway houses or drug rehab, because both my brothers were drug addicts and sister's a drug addict, and I'm somewhere in my head I thought I was kind of helping them if I helped someone else, but out of the friggin' 200 or 300 guys that we tried to help, maybe 6 of them over the years really ended up, turning their life around and doing something different, at least during that span of the time that we tried to help them. To where it's maddening, man. It's like as a business owner, the shit that you have to go through to become even like halfway successful, depending on someone's definition of success. Every day there's something. Every freaking day there's something. Someone who tells you something different is they're either lying or they don't know any better, and both are bad situations.
Well, there's a lot of times when I envy guys like you. Like you guys essentially, I mean, you're not necessarily just subcontractors. I mean, you guys have your own companies and you work directly from homeowners too. But so I would imagine you guys, I mean, obviously have some clientele horror stories as well.
Yeah.
But so like on my end, like you guys have one trade. Charlie, you specifically, I think you just maintain and polish floors. You don't even sand and refinish them, don't you?
Yeah, he used to do all of it, and he just, like I said, he's freaking semi-retired now. But
so you guys kind of, you have some stuff that I envy. Like there's some things that I envy that because I came up through the trades as just a carpenter where I had this is what I did, right? As a general contractor, I have upwards of 18 to 23 different trades that I'm dealing with throughout the course of a project and months worth of time or weeks. Where you get in and out within a matter of usually a day, 2, 3, or 4, right? And so ultimately,
I mean, 4 hours.
Yeah. And so, I mean, ultimately, like if we wanted to talk horror stories and most of my horror stories are, there's been some doozy clients in the past.
Oh, I bet. And they're drug out for a long period of time.
It's like I was talking to a guy today and I was like, so ultimately I was like, one of the questions I ask in that pre-qualification process is, have you ever done anything like this? What's your experience with this type of work? Right? Like, have you ever remodeled a home before? Have you ever built a home before? Like, no. I was like, well, I think the first step is that you come in the office and sit down with me and my project manager because you're about to make a huge commitment that's going to take 6 months at least. I think it's important that you at least like me.
Yeah. or we like each other.
Yeah. Well, I don't put it like that, but
Yeah. Hey, so, man, I'm a fan of RFK.
I am too.
And I don't agree 100% with anybody. I mean, shit, me and Anthony can argue left and right if we wanted to on something. But man, I think I love what he's doing with Big Pharma. I love the book that he wrote, the real Anthony Fauci. Man, I just all of it, and I think he's got a kind of like an vendetta against I guess I don't know what do you want the government or the whatever the hell Trump calls them, the not conspiracy guys, because they kind of killed his uncle and his dad. It kind of gets traced back to the CIA, but he says he'll get rid of them and stuff. Him and Vivek. If Vivek would throw one like the CDC into that list, man, I'd vote for him in a heartbeat because he wants to get rid of the FBI, the CIA, the firearms, tobacco guys, FTA. I'm like, man, throw in the CDC and you got a deal. But RFK to I think it was today or yesterday made some kind of crazy not even a prediction. He said, I was kind of reading through it and I'm going to investigate it more, but he's talking about, because the dollar used to be backed by gold. It used to be backed by silver and gold. I learned that when I was in Tombstone going through the silver mining camps. And when they took the dollar off of silver, that's when they stopped mining the silver in Tombstone. It wasn't because they ran out. It just wasn't feasible. It just didn't make profit sense for them to keep digging. But it used to be, backed by gold. We took it off of gold in the 70s. So now it's kind of backed by nothing but, memories. And RFK is talking about backing the dollar with Bitcoin. And Anthony's a Bitcoin dude. So I don't know. What do you think, Anthony?
So there's a couple things about that. Like, first of all, if you talk about mining of actual metal, right?
Yeah.
So come next spring, like you sent me that link and I haven't actually seen that yet. So, but what it looked like it was saying was that they're going to back the dollar with the Bitcoin and then stop taxing the Bitcoin. Is that what that said?
Yeah. That's what
and so ultimately, kind of going into that, like every 4-year cycle, the Bitcoin goes through a halving, right? And that's what it's called. And so what it is there's in the blockchain, like there's X amount of transactions that happen on this block. And mining of Bitcoin or any other coin really ultimately is confirming X amount of transactions. And once you confirm X amount of transactions, you have mined that block. And your reward for that, when Bitcoin first came around, was 50 Bitcoin. Then 4 years later, it went to 25. Then it went to 12.5. So right now we're at 6 and a quarter. It's going down to 3 1/8 Bitcoin, right? So every halving, like next spring, we're going through a halving, and the reward for mining a block of Bitcoin is only going to be 3 1/8 Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is going to have to, that's the deflationary nature of it, right? And so Bitcoin is going to have to make some serious movement in its price in order to make mining of it viable, right? But that being said, it's an interesting thing because there's this whole like mystique and mystery surrounding Bitcoin of like it was created by this pseudonym or this mystery character by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Or Satoshi Nakamoto. And everybody always speculates on who Satoshi is. Is it one person? Is it a group of people? It's even been speculated that Satoshi Nakamoto is the CIA, right? But you were saying, it's like, hey, they killed JFK back in the day for trying to break this thing up and bring these things back into play monetarily. And it's an interesting thing because just in the research I've done, it's a fun fantasy or a fun theory to think about, like, well, what if they are actually Satoshi Nakamoto, right? And it's all there. It's like they've created Bitcoin in order to, like, they've planned this out for a long time, because actually tomorrow FedNow goes live, and FedNow is essentially.
And I had never heard of FedNow until you sent me the link and I started reading on it, and that was even crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this cashless society that everybody is freaking out about, it's coming.
Yeah, I told the wife. Yeah, I told the wife that digital currency. I mean, I don't know how soon it's going to be here, but there's no stopping it, and that probably scares me more than anything. And I was talking to another guy. I was like, shit. It was like, are we going to have some kind of underground currency to where a group of us pay each other with something else? And I'm like, well, fuck, man, that's what Bitcoin was supposed to be. Keep it out of the government's hand, and let's just exchange money back and forth, or exchange whatever the hell we're exchanging back and forth, so that the government, doesn't have its hands in it. And I don't mean for taxes. I'm just saying it's like for the control. I mean, that's the whole idea of interest rate. I mean, they're charging interest on nothing. I mean, whether they're printing money and charging you interest of it, and now they really don't even have to print it. Well, it's already digital. It's all on the computer. You're not gonna. You got a couple of $1 million in the bank. You can't go down there and they're gonna fill up your backpack with millions of dollars. It's all, where do you want me to wire it to? Where do you want? What's your your code, your account number? What's your wiring transaction number? It's all friggin' already. It's almost already digital. Just because of that.
When they create zeros in the bank, when you put $100 in the bank, they create $90 more based on their ledger, right?
Yeah.
And so when just to lend out, and so them lending it out at interest, that interest essentially is the money printer.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have to just turn on the money printer at some Fort Knox over, and
yeah,
it's like, I mean, they do, but there's multiple ways of printing that money. And the one thing about Bitcoin is you can't just print Bitcoin. You can't just create more Bitcoin. There's only so much Bitcoin. And the only way to gain more of it is to mine it or buy it. And I mean, ultimately, it is a scary prospect, right? It's scary, but at the same time, there's a huge opportunity in what's coming.
Yeah.
Because, what it's called CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies.
Yeah.
Like within the next 2 years, we will be in a cashless society. Every transaction you make will be on a blockchain. It will be tracked. It will be maintained. It will be controlled, not by your government, but by your central bank or
Yeah.
the people who run that show. And the only thing that is not falling under that that umbrella is Bitcoin. And ultimately, so when that happens, all like just recently, even XRP or Ripple Labs cryptocurrency just won, their
lawsuit.
SEC lawsuit. So if you think about that, XRP is the only cryptocurrency on the market that has some sort of regulatory clarity, right?
Yeah.
The only other thing besides it is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has already been deemed by the SEC as a commodity, not a currency.
Right? Hey, Charlie, how do you feel about Elon Musk?
Well, I like Elon.
What about you, Anthony?
My feelings on him?
Yeah.
I think ultimately, we're seeing history repeat itself. I think he is the Henry Ford of
Exactly.
the 21st century.
I've read two different biographies on him, and I like him a lot. I think he's trying to turn Twitter into an everything app, meaning it. He will. I believe he will eventually have his own digital currency, and everything will flow through Twitter and pay and I believe that because he's still got a thorn under his saddle about PayPal. He never wanted to lose PayPal, and that still pisses him off. I bet he wakes up at night yelling about it.
Really? I thought he sold it willingly.
No, hell no. They fucking stole it from him when he went to Hawaii on a freaking honeymoon.
They rug pulled it.
They waited for him to get on the plane. As soon as the plane took off, they were in the boardroom doing all kind of shady shit. When the plane landed 5, 6, 7 hours later, whatever, and it was already there. He turned right back around and flew back. By then, it was too friggin' late, and he was pissed. He got a shitload of money for it, but he was pissed. He never wanted PayPal to be what it is. He wanted, because when he was in college, he worked for a couple of banks, and even says, he goes, "Man, I'm in the banks going, they're doing this all wrong. We could do this, we could do this, we do this, and he started PayPal and got into PayPal with another guy, hoping PayPal was going to be that digital bank, and he was going to do everything with PayPal, bank wise, that he knew was better as a kid. But then they ripped the rug out from underneath him. That pissed him off. He went on and started investing in Tesla. And
there's been speculation that even Elon Musk is Satoshi Nakamoto. Because of what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, but as he moves and I hate liking him that much, of fear of, you put too much hope in somebody, they end up letting you down. But again, it's like I said earlier, it's like, I'm not going to agree 100% with anybody. I guess you kind of take the good with the bad and hope the bad ain't too bad. And when the bad is too bad is when you kind of move away from them, I guess.
He's such a visionary that it's amazing.
Yeah, and his whole thing on free speech kind of reminded me. I used to, like, when I was a kid, when I started hardwood flooring and stuff way before I was 21. But I had a fake ID, and we'd go to the bar. I'd go to the bar with these guys they didn't have money, but construction guys kind of make money, right? We get paid cash a lot of times, or when we do get paid, and we have no idea, I guess, how to spend it. I mean, these guys would spend it like there's no tomorrow, and then by the end of the week they'd be crying they're broke and stuff. But they'd be at the freaking happy hour every day. And one guy used to always, after about 4 or 5 drinks, be talking shit like, "I'll buy this bar and bulldozer it down and turn it into a parking lot," and just stupid shit when he's drunk. And Elon with Twitter is like, "What? You can't tell me I can't post that. I'll buy this damn thing and fire everyone there." And he did. And I'm like,
that's what we all want to do.
Yes, he walked
I love
in with
that
the
interview.
Kitchen sink, man.
I love that interview he did with that reporter or that guy from whatever it was, but he was just calling him out. He was like, "No, dude, that's bullshit. Like, where are you getting your facts from?"
It's more racist content on Twitter now. He goes, "Really? Where?" Well, that's what it's
where.
No. You don't just say that. Tell me where it is. Like, and just called him completely out. Man, that was great. I thought he was going to reach across and slap and slap him. So I don't know. To see what happens with RFK. I think another buddy of mine said, "Shit, if this was the 60s, they would have already shot him." But I guess you just can't kill people as easy as you used to and get away with it. But I don't know. I like what he says. I like where he's going. I don't know. This time next year is going to be a real weird time in the United States political arena. Just all of it, because I still don't think Biden's going to end up running. They're releasing more and more dirt on him, whoever the hell they are, and to where I think they're going to make him, step down politely. Who knows? I don't think they're going to let him run. What do you think?
I think it's going to be fascinating. We live in a powder keg of a nation, man. I'm just like, who's got the match?
I hope that Manchin and Huntsman jump in.
Yeah.
What is it? The No Name Group? I can't remember who they're.
Oh yeah, there is a group like that. The No Name Group.
No labels.
Yeah. No labels. That's what it was. Yeah. I just heard that name. The No Label guys.
Manchin's a great guy. I'm conservative, so I have trouble sometimes with how far the other side can go. But Manchin's always sort of been a very stable person.
Yeah.
In the Senate.
Well, that's like RFK. When they talk to him about his gun policy, he's not a gun guy, but he says, all right, before we start taking guns out of people's hand and talking about all these mass shootings, let's look at the pharmaceutical products these kids were on. And then everybody's like, oh, like they back away from that. And he starts naming off these drugs and what the drugs do to you. And no one can debate him on it or call him out on it, because I guess it's pretty much all true. I like Vivek. Anthony, have you seen him?
Yep.
Who is it?
Vivek.
I'm not familiar.
Ramaswamy or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
he's probably one of the smartest out of everybody that's running.
Not probably. I think hands down, he's up there with freaking Elon.
Right.
I mean, man, I don't know where he's going to end up, but he's going to do something. I don't know if he's ready for presidency right now. Meaning, I don't know if the United States is ready for him, but he'll talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime, and stand his ground. He has true conviction. This is what he believes, and if it hurts your feelings, he may apologize a little bit for it, but he explains why he feels that way. His parents are from India. They came over here. I mean, he's made business wise, he's a billionaire, and kind of like Patrick David Bett is, he's running this freaking multi $100 million company and starts, sharing his opinions on things, mostly the whole woke and the transgender and other things. And they're like, whoa, as a CEO, you can't talk like that. And he's like, hey, then I'm out, and because I'm going to, state my opinion. And he's young. He's like, I don't even think he's 40 yet, but he's so well-spoken. That's
born in 1985.
Yeah.
He has got a bachelor's in biology from Harvard College.
Yeah.
Earned a JD from Yale Law School. Founded the biopharmaceutical company Roviot Sciences. Man, I need to start paying more attention to this because it's coming up, man.
He's so freaking like Charlie said, he's so smart, and he never like I said, he'll talk to anybody anywhere. And I don't think Charlie, have you? Because I've watched a lot of his stuff, but I don't think the way he talks with people, even during interviews, or he'll be in like a little coffee shop, people still in the back room smoking, and he'll just talk to anybody. And the way he talks to them, I don't think it's ever come across that he's kind of putting them down, no matter what he says. He always ends up saying it in a respectful way.
He's very even keeled, and it's just the way he comes across to people, and even the people that are disagreeing with him and arguing with him, he doesn't get pissed off like a lot of these guys do.
Yeah,
they just take umbrage at the fact that somebody's questioning them. He doesn't care. He will listen.
Yeah.
To their point of view, then he'll come out with his, and then why his is actually better. And
yeah.
by the time it's done, most of the time he has everybody believing in him. For the most part.
It is, man. It's like any of it, like the racism and the other stuff. I've seen him in in the hood, like South Central. So I don't think it was South Central, but it's like, the black barbershop, and he's in there with all the black guys, and they're asking him questions and stuff. And he's like, like he's from India. Like you can't go at a whole racist thing. And he starts talking about the family, core and the unit and fathers, standing up and being fathers and doing that. I mean, but he says it in a logical, nice way to where you know, all you can do is go, yeah, well, that does make sense. Okay, next.
Okay.
Well, when you're making cogent statements, and even if you're not debating, you're just making statements that are completely cogent and coherent, and they make sense. It's like man, you really have to try to, you have to try to be committed to misunderstanding. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's the problem for a lot of people. He backs it up with facts, and nobody likes that.
It is, and that no, we don't care about your facts. We only care about our feelings.
Right.
So, hey, did you watch any of? There were two big events that went on this weekend. One was in the Midwest somewhere. By what's his name? He has the talk show in Texas. I can't even think of his damn name. He's the biggest talk show host on Fox at one time.
Tucker?
No, Tucker was the interview.
Carlson?
Yeah. What is it?
Tucker Carlson?
No, not Tucker. The guy who was.
Oh, you're talking about
Bill Riley.
No. Bill. He was before. He was on Fox even before Bill.
Wow.
What the hell's his name? But he had.
Randy said Glenn Beck.
Glenn Beck. Yeah. So Glenn Beck had his event, and everybody showed up, and Tucker was there, kind of interviewing everybody. And he interviewed Mike Pence, and Mike Pence was saying that, you know, the one thing that Joe Biden was doing wrong was he promised Ukraine all of these weapons and these fighter jets and all this other stuff, and he's only giving them half, and he needs to, you know, come through with his promises and this and that. And Tucker's like, whoa, you're talking about
Charlie Kirk.
Well, Charlie Kirk had his the day after, and Charlie Kirk is amazing. Yeah, Charlie Kirk is amazing. He's another guy. I don't even think he's freaking 30 yet, and just crazy smart. It's crazy. But his was the day after Glenn Beck's, and Tucker was there and speaking, but not as he wasn't doing all the interviews. And so and Tucker had told Pence, he goes, man, you're worried about a country that most people can't even find on the map, and yet every country or every city in the United States over the last 3 years are worse off now than they were, and this and that, and you're worried about is Ukraine getting their fighter jets and all these cities and people in these cities are, you know, like their life is going downhill, is this, and with a straight face, he said, well, that's not my concern. My concern is, and Tucker's like, whoa, what do you say? And it's like everybody says, you know, it shot himself in the foot. That's the end of his running for president. But I don't know if he was really running anyway. I don't even know what he's doing there. He'd be better off running for a Democrat, the way most of the Republicans, you know, view him. But Tucker was interviewing all of these guys, and now he's raising money because he supposedly wants to start his own media outlet. And I don't, and tie it to Twitter somehow. So I don't know how that's going to end up. But I've never watched any of the Tucker shows. I've seen like highlights here and there. I was never a Tucker fan until Tucker got fired, and I was like, I thought Tucker was number one. How the hell did he fire number one? And then I started researching him and watching some of his stuff. He does come across a little condescending. He definitely doesn't come across like Vivek does, because he'll say some shit that's kind of true, but he'll say it in a condescending way, and I don't care. I mean, nobody's hurting my feelings either way. It's like I'm not giving anybody that permission. Yeah, he is.
That's his stick, man. He's very sarcastic, and sometimes it's hard to tell. Like,
I guess, like I've never, because I started posting some stuff, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're a Tucker," and I'm like, I don't even know the dude. I only watch him now because he got fired. And I'm trying to figure out why he got fired and all this other stuff. But when I started listening to the stuff, then I went back and watched some of the other stuff. But most of the stuff is like common sense stuff, and he comes to it as you know, approaches it in a common sense way. But he does it comes across kind of condescending.
Well, didn't he get fired over his reporting of January 6th?
Man,
I think that had something to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they won't say. Yeah, they won't say. They say January the 6th, and that and they say the election fraud, and that whatever that machine that we use to count votes, they say, you know, that was some of it. But then there's other people that say because the lady who runs it, whatever she is, and I guess through the whole industry, everybody agreed with him, but you couldn't say it verbally, and he called her a big ass cunt, and that didn't go. Yeah, and that didn't go across. And everybody's like, "Hey, man, I agree 100%, but you can't say it." And he's like, no, I'm saying, so who really, I don't know. But I know he's been offered a lot of money to do different things, but it looks like he wants to, start his own media mogul. And I don't know what that looks like. I know a handful of people that are doing it, but it's a big industry. And I do see more and more streaming stuff, and regular television that we used to watch is going bye-bye. It may not be for me, but man, I'm telling you, if you're like 35 and younger, most of those guys don't even watch TV. They watch YouTube or they watch something, but it usually isn't TV.
It's like the Yellow Pages.
It is, and there's no stopping it. And Anthony's the young guy here. What do you think, Anthony? You still watching TV?
I'm 47, and the only time I ever really watch TV is I'll watch about 20 minutes of golf on ABC on Sunday before I have to go play.
Yeah,
that's the extent of my TV.
Yeah, I watched because I was in the hotel, so I'm watching more TV than normal. But I did watch Rory McIlroy win the freaking Scottish Open this weekend, and I didn't think he'd be able to do it because he usually chokes. So it's the one time I'm usually rooting for the dude. This time I was rooting against him because some young kid looked like he was going to end up winning. And Rory put it out of his butt and did birdie to win. And if you can do that, you deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, guys? What else? Before I bring up Andrew Tate in Florida and a couple of, and get back into marketing your business for slow down time.
Just move on into that, my man.
So I was online, like a buddy, Bob Donnell. So you know him.
Yeah.
I've had him on the podcast a couple of times. Anthony had lunch with him. He's a really good guy, but he had asked, did anyone go back to Tucker? Did anyone see the Tucker interview with Andrew Tate? And I watched half of it. And I'll probably go back and watch the other half. But I've seen all 5+ hours months ago with Andrew Tate when Patrick, PBD interviewed him. And then he went to jail and then he got out and he's on home arrest. And a month ago, Patrick went back and interviewed him again for another 5+ hours. And I watched all of that. So that's all I know of Andrew Tate, except for those stupid little clips. And I guess there is a lot of people that hate him. And most of them hate him because they only see the bad clips or what the media says. And so Bob had posted, who watched the Tucker Carlson interview with Andrew Tate, and most people said, yeah, and they were okay with it. But there was a couple of people who were like, oh, well, he's a chauvinist. He's in jail for rape and human trafficking, and he keeps girls locked up. And then I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah, but he claims they made that all up.
He doesn't claim that he made it up.
Yeah.
So what it is like he ran how he basically started out was he ran a webcam service.
Yeah.
And these girls came in and made money to basically talk to dudes and, maybe, flick their nipples a little bit on the cam for them or whatever, And so they're trying to say, that they're trying to call that human trafficking is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, he moved to Romania specifically to do that. So I didn't know, but he was on that show Big Brother. Remember that show? It's still going.
Yep.
So he was on there at one time. So between that and winning the kickboxing championship a couple of times and being a world champion chess player,
4-time world champion, yeah.
Yeah. So that plus Big Brother gave him a little bit of notoriety. He can talk to women, whatever. And so they put together that whole webcam thing. So Romania is somewhere that it runs rampant. However, he's got a business mind on him, and he really does. I've seen a couple of things like he walked into a coffee store one day and went, man, this needs to be changed. This needs to be changed. You should be doing this. You should be doing this. Put all of it into a text, send it to one of his investors. And 3 months later, he's got like the number one coffee shop in the town, like one street over from the place that he went in to get the coffee. So he is business smart like that. But the whole webcam thing he got into in Romania, and the Romanian women that work for him love him. Like, hey, like I'm supporting my family now. I'm making money. And what's the difference between this and a strip bar where I got to slap guys off of me? At least with the webcam, I'm home, I'm safe, blah, blah, blah. So but like if you listen to, like when I listen to the whole interviews, all the way through with him, his whole his biggest message is to men, and a small message is to women. But the biggest message to men is you need to make enough money that people can't tell you, the government can't tell you what to do. You need to take care of yourself physically so that you can protect yourself, your loved ones, your wife, your family, and anyone around you that's being picked on. Never let someone bully someone in front of you. And the only way you can stop that is if you are physically in the best shape that you can be of. And he teaches a lot of personal responsibility. It has been a growing curve for sure. He used to be atheist, and now he's not. And he talks about that openly, and why, and all this other stuff. And shit, man, I did stuff when I was 20 that I wouldn't do today for sure. I did stuff when I was 30 that I wouldn't be doing today, because I learned from them. But it's this internet world of little 2-minute clips, and if the media wants to degrade you and make you look bad, they can take bits and pieces of things that you've said and make you look any way that they want to make you look. And I beg people is to, like, man, do your own research and learn about people before you start casting stones, I guess.
Well, I think it goes even beyond just Andrew Tate. I think Andrew Tate is I think he's sort of a scapegoat in that, you could take one video clip of Andrew Tate saying, like, hey, men, women, this is women's role in the world, and this is a man's role in the world. And he could be making a very clear statement about how the world works in a very objective way without being, misogynistic or anything. And then, you take a clip of him talking about how, basically what I'm getting at is people will, like, you can show people black and you can show people white, right? And you can literally sit here and say, okay, black, 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 black. Is there anything about black that you don't understand? Cool, great. Hey, just want to make sure to reiterate, we discussed black, right? Cool, black, great. Sign right here. It says black, great. And the very next day, that person's going, you said white.
Yeah.
And it's just, and ultimately what it is, that's just human nature in general. And realistically, the internet has provided us, like, nothing is truly new under the sun, right? The only thing that's new under the sun is that the bullshit travels faster across the internet. Right?
Yeah.
And people perceive things in a certain way, and that's the way they want to perceive it. And like you were saying, Charlie, people just, their feelings are all that matters, right?
Yeah.
And people are going to perceive what you say regardless of what it is you are really saying or trying to convey. Because at the end of the day, most people, when you're talking to them, and this has been a big thing for me in my professional realm, like realizing that people are not listening to you with the intention of understanding you. They're simply waiting for you to shut the fuck up so they can speak.
Yeah.
So respond. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that, like I mentioned earlier with that Mike Pence and him saying, and Tucker talking about, all the different cities in America and how people are hurting and stuff. And he goes, well, that's not my concern. I honestly think he wasn't paying any attention to what Tucker was saying. He was just waiting for Tucker to shut up so he could go into his spiel on, well, that's not my concern. This is it. Because it was like he's robotic and he wasn't even listening to what Tucker was saying. And I don't know, it's like and by no means am I comparing myself to the great Andrew Tate, but in some of these Facebook groups, I'm the world's most hated man. And it's because I come across as a dick, and
I'm your little buddy. I'm proud of.
And I don't care. I'm like, dude, I honestly want you to succeed. I'm done. I'm out of it. It's like, look, man, learn from all the mistakes that I've made, so you don't have to go through it. And I guess, like Tucker, I do say it in a sarcastic, condescending way. But some of the damn questions are just so stupid, you can't help but answer that way.
Man, everybody wants to put on that front, like they want to do better in their lives, like they want to take this to the next level, or they want to improve on that, or they want to succeed here, or they want this and they want that in their lives. But you know what the fact of the matter is, man, and I've seen this more so in the past few years of my life. Maybe it's probably always been this way, but maybe I've just been more perceptive to it. Is like you throw a little bit of adversity at most people and they will crumble. They'll crumble, right? And they want to be able to rationalize that, right? They want to be able to rationalize their purchase with their emotions, right?
Well, they want it all, but they don't want to work for it all. They don't want to have to go through the process of learning.
And, so last thing before I talk on the whole construction and marketing, but Florida, and I don't know if they'll pull it off, but and this came up because I got a couple of contractors in Melbourne, Florida, and I've got a chiropractor who just opened his second location that I helped them, do their business stuff. But I guess some of the legislator guys down there, they're all putting this bill together to make it illegal to give COVID shots to anyone in the state of Florida, saying that it's a bioweapon and some other stuff. And I'm watching to see where that goes real careful, and mainly because I just, like I said, I'm a little bit more than 3/4 of the way through this book, the real Anthony Fauci. And it's like a 12, 13 hour friggin' book. And then I want to start it over again because there's so much information in it. It's mind boggling. So I'm interested to see where that goes. But man,
I love the fact that you pay attention to all this stuff, Brian, because every time I talk to you, I'm Googling shit,
Well, and I never was up until COVID. When they told men to stay home and don't go out and support your families,
it was a big wake up call.
Man, it just like kicked me in the nuts. And I was like, what the hell is, and I think that pissed me off. But what pissed me off even more was men listen to him. And I was like, what kind of man doesn't go out and kill the deer and drag it back and throw it down on the freaking table like the Vikings? It's like, we're eating tonight, baby, and start slicing off meat. It's like, what kind of man stays home and says, the king's going to bring by some food if we're nice? It's like, no. It's like, what? That just drove me crazy. So then I start researching all this shit, and now I'm one of the freaking conspiracy theory nut dudes, and I hate it. So I'm trying to break it down in a way that someone as dumb as me can understand it. So let's get into the whole construction industry thing, laying it down. And then in construction, it's business, period. And I've been teaching this forever, but I don't think in the last 10 years, probably longer than that, I don't think there's not been one time that I showed up to a client's house that they didn't open the door going, "You look just like your videos. Oh my God. Oh my God." And I'm like, yeah. It's like, and it's kind of, I don't know, but it's fun, really. I mean, it is, I kind of play off of it or not, or whatever. The wife had me doing videos way back when. But it started before when I sold the first company in 2001, and then I'm traveling the country with Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, and all those guys. We used to dream of a day when you could put video content on the internet, because the internet was new in 2001. I mean, it was crazy new. The website was different, all this stuff. We were still sending out VHS tapes, and I was in VHS when I was sending my demo tapes out. The first ones I sent out were VHS tapes, and then like for about 3 months, and then it was DVDs. But man, it was like, and this whole internet thing was coming along, and we're like, man, but you never could. You couldn't stream it. You could try it and other stuff. So when I got back into construction, 2004, 2005, YouTube was just getting ready to start, but I was still using my wife's camcorder, and I had a Pinnacle program on the computer. You had to download everything, do this editing. It was a bunch of shit just to get a small little video uploaded to the website. But we knew, just from being in the speaking industry, the website, the videos was it. And so I made the welcome video that's still on my daughter's website right now. But it just grew from that. A couple of years ago, I went to Vegas to learn how to grow your business through video, to see if there's anything different, but it's not. And Anthony, you just said there's nothing new under the sun. From the time of cavemen, we do business with people we know, like, and trust, our friends, and all of that stuff. And back in the day, the yellow pages, if you had the money, you'd buy a full page ad. And whether it worked or not, your ass was stuck paying for it for the whole freaking year. And you do newspaper and try to hope you got, or you do the mailers and you put the picture of you and the family on there, and because you were always trying to build the relationship. Yeah, I'm a family guy. We go to church. Look at us. We're this and that. All of that stuff. So never any time in history has it been as easy as it is right now, and guys still don't do it. Charlie doesn't do the videos, but when I talked about Google, he's like, "What's Google?" And man, he did everything I said. He was like, he'd keep me up. My phone would be ringing in the middle. Like, my wife was like, "Who the hell's texting you right now?" I was like, "I don't know, some dude in Texas." But if I said do something, man, he was on it, and it's worked, right, Charlie?
Oh, Google just. I've never been so amazed. If I'd had something like that, or if I talked to you or met you and had been told all this 10 years ago, I'd have a house in Taos and a house in Boynton Beach, Florida, chilling. It instantly tripled. I say instantly. Yeah. It was a slow roll. I mean, you had me. Well, once I started doing everything you said, I think I was number like 288 in the area. If you Googled hardwood floor maintenance. Yeah. Within about 2 months, you had me in the top, I believe it was 15. Another month, I was in the top 5. And then within a couple of weeks after that, I was number 1. I've been number 1. If you search it in the McKinney-Frisco area, the cleaning or polishing, I'm the first one that shows up. But I'm still doing everything you said with Google. But I also took that and I put it on Bing and on Yelp. Yeah. And those were a little slower, but it moved. Now I haven't got to number 1, but I'm consistently in the top 6 or 7 when somebody searches one of those sites. Yeah. So what you say about Google will also work with these other sites. It doesn't work, I don't think, as well or as fast.
So you're actually having luck with Yelp? Tell us a little bit more about that.
It's what Brian told me to do with the
it's the same thing with Google. You're just doing it with Yelp?
All I'm doing is posting the photos, which he had me geotag photos. Yeah. So I do the geotagging, and I'll post. Now Yelp, I'm doing it in the morning, and then in the evening, I'll post one picture. And so again, morning. What's up, Stephen? So anyway, I try to do it twice a day. With Google, I do it once a day. Yeah. Do the same thing with Bing once a day, and I'm still not at the top in Bing, but I pull up as the I think number 6, 7 there as well. But anyway, it's the same thing. But for the only problem with Yelp is they want to drive you absolutely insane with emails and phone calls to get into their advertising. And now they finally have figured out I won't respond to them. So their messages now say, "We understand because it's in the notes that you do 0 paid advertising." And, Brian had told me I could have done a lot better had I done the Google AdWords and all. But I never really had to, and I have to sometimes turn down work. I have so many calls. Yeah, or calls, or not just calls, but notifications. Because usually they'll find me on Google, go to the website, they'll send me whatever their questions are, and I can't help them all because some of them don't. They'll see that I'm doing the cleaning and polishing. They see the before and afters, and they think I'm refinishing some of those floors. It's like, no, I'm just cleaning them. And they'll send me photos of their floors and their summer. And
you're not trying to grow your business. I mean, you're trying to get out of it, and you're not doing the videos and the website and stuff the way someone should that's growing their business. Anthony jumped on the video stuff as soon as I mentioned it and hasn't slowed down.
Well, like I told you, I've got a face for radio, not a face for TV. So,
BS. That's BS.
So actually, what I am working on, working on a couple of projects where you will start seeing me more. I do have a YouTube channel now, but I'm just showing videos of my work and putting music to it. But by the end of the year, you're going to see a lot more of Charlie, and hopefully it'll help me more with the training of the guys. Because somebody else had told me to try YouTube. Yeah. Well, I've had almost as many people contact me now through YouTube, because I mention on every one of my posts that I do training. I teach people. I've even had a couple of homeowners reach out wanting to know if I would help them. So I'm talking to not just guys that want to learn how to do it professionally. I'm starting to get some of the do-it-yourselfers contact me and ask me if I will help them. So for $100, sit there, I'll walk them through it, for about 30 minutes on exactly what they need to do their floor themselves.
So, hey, Anthony, I don't know about now, but I know in the beginning, the videos really propelled you in the Boise area. Do they still help?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think kind of going back to your recession talk that you were talking about earlier, what Charlie's talking about is essentially it's marketing, but it's also branding, and it's more importantly setting yourself up as the expert in your field, because most people, they don't stay on top of that because they're too busy working on the trade itself. But I think ultimately, what you're talking about, Charlie and Brian, what you're talking about ultimately is
That's Anthony's book, Charlie.
I'm trying remodeling secrets.
I had this guy in California help me out with that. He kicked my ass for about 3 years before I finally did that.
I love this book, man.
Well, he's told me to do he's told me to do the same thing with the maintenance.
Yeah, all of it, man. I tell guys I'm like, look, man, I ain't making this shit up. It's stuff that I did that worked and still works. But go ahead, Anthony, because you're doing the videos, you kind of dominate now.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, man, like in 2008 or in 2008, people didn't stop spending money. They just got more picky about who they spent their money with.
That's it, 100%. They got more picky about who they're hiring.
And what you guys are talking about, the both of you, what you're doing and what you're teaching is how you become recession proof. It's like if nobody knows, you could be the best damn polisher or finisher out there. You could be the guy. You could be the bee's knees of general contracting. But if nobody knows about it, it doesn't matter whether it's a recession or not.
Yeah, Yeah, 100%. Hey, Randy,
what
that's a good question.
Topics?
Yeah. So me, I'm not a Facebook guy, but I met both of these dudes from Facebook. I keep in touch with all my redneck friends and family members. I got friends all over the freaking place.
Cheers.
And I keep in touch with them through Facebook. But I don't like business from Facebook. It takes about 25 to 35 leads from Facebook to equal one Google Ads lead. But I like Facebook because anybody that works for us can log on, and I tell the guys I like to have 3 videos a day. You show up in the morning. The camera is facing you. Hey, happy homeowners, here we are, blah, blah, blah. Today we're going to be doing this, boom, boom, boom. I'm over here. You explain it, you sit, and they're always seeing you. You say, I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what we got going on today. And you walk them through the house, and you say, this is what we're going to be working on today. Putting this sink in, we're doing these cabinets, we're doing this, that, boom, boom. It's 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute video. Lunchtime, bam. Everybody sitting around having a burrito, right back at you. Camera's on you, facing you. Hey, happy homeowners, lunchtime over here. Remember this morning we were going to do this. Let me walk you inside and show you how much we got done. You're going to be amazed. Or we ran into this problem. Let me tell you how we fixed it. Boom, 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 boom. And I don't care about Facebook, but that's 3 videos you did, Facebook Lives. They all get downloaded, uploaded to YouTube with hashtags and taglines. And we piece them together and we do, a whole bunch of shit with them. I used to do it. Now I send it out to have them done. But we use those videos because I could be on my phone talking to a client. It's on speakerphone as she's describing the project that she wants to do. I'm at my YouTube channel grabbing a couple of links, texting her, and as soon as she gives me a chance, I'm like, hey, boom, boom, boom. I just sent you a couple of videos, same type of project you're talking. Oh my God, I just got them. Normally nowadays it's I already seen all your videos. It's kind of it's like. Now my daughter's doing them and stuff, but the guys that work for us, if she can't get over there, they're part of the fate, boom, they do it. All of it is, but so if you're not,
I think don't forget the most important one though, Brian. The most important video,
testimonials.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Was that what you were going to say? Or was you going to say something else?
No, man, no.
Hey, what did you say? You said years ago when I made you start doing them, and then you were doing them.
Dude, they make Google reviews obsolete.
100%. And the Google reviews, people don't trust anyway. Amazon.
When you got a customer, like, and you even started doing this too.
Oh, I know, because I told you, I said, shit, you're doing them better than I am, you son of a bitch.
When you ask a customer, hey, listen, Mr. Homeowner, if there was one thing we could have done for you that would have improved your experience, what would have that been?
Yeah.
And they stand there and they're like dumbfounded. They're like, well,
yeah.
I'm ready for kick ass. You're perfect. You can't fake that.
No, I remember the
know?
first time you did that, and I was watching it, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Dude, my heart was pounding. I was like, "Oh my god!"
I said, "Did he just really do that?" And I didn't. And even now, I'll do some. Like you'll see some of my old video testimonials, and it's me with the camera recording them. But then I'm sitting there going, "Man, I'm telling everybody they need to be in the camera more." So I just have a selfie stick, and you can see a couple of that my daughter has done. You know, she's with the selfie. So when you got the selfie stick and you're beside of the homeowner, and you have the camera out here, and it's like you're almost friends with them, and they're sitting there bragging about how great you are. You're right. You can't fake it. You can't. You know, it's like we've got more work and more everything because of video testimonials than anything. But now I do videos like even on the website, it's me going over the whole, like I say, hey, sit down here and have a conversation with me. This is like, I don't care where you're at in the world. If you're in Ireland, I'm in California. If you're getting your hardwood floors done, it's pretty much going to be the same. Here's what the process is going to be. Here's our process. This is what we do. And I walk them through it. And I've got videos because and I tell people, I'm like, man, dude, go to Google, ask one question. Google is going to give you 6, 7, 8 different questions that other people also ask pretty much similar to that question. You click on one of those and go back or you close it. You know, you hit the little arrow and close it. They will add 2 or 3 more questions. They will give you an infinite amount of questions that people ask about your industry, about your trade. Answer those freaking questions. And people are like, oh man, I don't want to give my information out on YouTube. I'm like, bitch, somebody is. They go to YouTube. You can find answers to almost anything. You need to be the one giving that information.
That's huge, man. Like, and I tell that to other contractors too. It's like, give away all of your trade secrets, because what's going to happen is people are either going to take it and use it, and you're going to elevate your industry, or they're going to call you up and be like, hey man, I started to do that shit, but that's hard. So can you do it for me?
90% of the time, just hearing what you got to do, they go, oh my God, I had no clue it was that hard. I didn't know it was that detailed. I didn't know it was what? No. Get him on the phone. What? He's local? Oh my God. I thought he was like, no. If he's local, I don't care how much he's charging. Get that guy. So you got all of that. But then it's like you got go through your van, go through your garage, go through your shop, show them the office, meet them, introduce them to the people that work with you. All the every one of your employees should have their own little video. You should be, and if they don't want to do it by themselves, stand there with them. Hey man, this is Jeff. Boom, boom, boom. This Jeff has got kids. He has boom and that. And that's the video that you send to the homeowners. Like, hey, Jeff's going to be there at 8 o'clock, 7:30, whatever. Here's a video so you kind of know who's showing up. Boom, boom, boom. Jeff shows up. She's got coffee going, oh my God, you got a daughter my same age. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't know it, but you go to that same church that I went to. But all of it, it's all about building relationships. And the video does that way before they ever even call you. I mean, you go through you talk about the tools that you have. You made the video, and I thought you were making the video for the homeowners, but you were pissed off because one of the dudes that worked for you didn't know how to use a fucking cocking gun. So Anthony's like, let me show you how to use a cocking gun. This is it. I was like, hey dude, that's a good video, man. The homeowner's gonna love that. He said, I ain't doing it for the homeowners. This dumbass working for me don't know how to use a cocking. You remember that?
Yeah, so that would be my employee story. Yeah. I made a video to teach an employee how to use a tool. And
I was like, hey man, that's gonna be a great homeowners are gonna love that shit. And he's like, I ain't making it for them. I made it for this dumbass.
How to become a caulk master.
Yeah, so, dude, I was like, but it's never ending. I'm telling you, it's like and I don't know what the economy is going to do. Nobody does. I don't care what the economy does. If someone goes searching for your trade, they're going to search Google 80% of the time. So you can be on Facebook, be on like, and Charlie mentioned ads, Google ads. I'm a Google ad guy, but Bing makes it even easier. Bing will go, we noticed you running ads for Google. Do you want us to just copy everything from them? I'm like, yes, I do. Click, and Bing copies everything and just starts running your ads through. And I'm like, and again, Bing is like Google. They only charge you if someone's clicking on it and going to your website. I had a girl reach out to me today from this group that me and Charlie are no longer a part of, and she's like, "Hey, I've seen some of your videos with them. I'm not even a part of that group anymore. I should go in there and delete my videos." But she was asking me about Google Ads, and I said, without even looking, it's your website. It's if you're having problems with Google Ads, it's your website. People are clicking on your ad, going to your website, and they don't like what they see, and they're leaving.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, we're getting ready to change it. I'm like, so I don't know. I said, man, I said, go to the YouTube channel and start going through all the videos, and and then call me back. Because I really, go ahead.
I really like some of Charlie's videos because it looks like he just basically sets the phone on the floor and just starts buffing.
Yeah,
and it's kind of almost like ASMR. Like you just kind of get hypnotized by it.
I'm glad you brought that up.
The fourth person that said that about ASMR. They just like, a couple of people have asked me to stop putting music to some so they can hear the sound of the machine. So that's one of the last ones that I did.
That's good, man. Cheers.
and what Charlie didn't used to do you used to do all these pictures or even post like the mascot, and it would be like the homeowner's pets.
What I would do is the dogs. Well, it's their pets, but
yes, their pets.
I call them my helper of the day.
And the homeowners love that stuff, man.
You want to get your name and your business spread, because I do it in my Renaissance Facebook page.
Yeah.
Well, I share it there. The majority of my clients are on there as well. So they share it to their friends and family, and then they'll share it if the dog looks, if they think the dog picture's cute enough. But anyway, they're listed as my helper of the day. I've had a snake, I've had a rooster, a couple of chickens, one horse. Mainly it's dogs, and I've had about 3 cats.
Yeah,
nice.
But no, people they love it, and that's one of the things they share the most is that their pet has actually made it to somebody else's Facebook page other than their own, because everybody loves their pets.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go take video of my client's pet tomorrow.
There you go.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm telling you, they love that stuff, man. They love. I mean, because these homeowners, like just people in general, their pets are their family. They love their pets more. Yeah, they love their pets more than they do their children. Normally the pets listen. The children don't.
Well, the pets like you better than the kids do.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start actually posting those on my YouTube page as well. I'm going to take, because most of the time dogs will follow me around, even with the buffer running.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start taking a few videos.
Man, I'm telling you, man, one of my biggest sales techniques, and it's not a sales technique, but it was like, man, if I knock on the door, the homeowner opens the door, I'm telling you, most of the time it's like, oh my God, you look just like you do in the video. If they have a dog, I'm on the floor on my back, and me and the dog is like this. And I'm like, no. We don't talk to anybody in this house till we get this out of the way. And they love that crap. And I love the dogs too, but it's like, because
it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
I'm telling you, all over. And I've got my labs, so they usually smell in my labs and stuff. But it's good. One last question, and we're out of here. What does Randy say?
I just answered that shit.
Do you all ask for permission to video in people's houses or forgiveness? That's what you just answered. It's better to ask for forgiveness. No, I've never even heard it mentioned about.
And you know what I do when I'm pitching it to him, I tell him straight out. So listen, here's the deal. Here's what's going to happen. It's going to be great. It's going to be magnificent. And when it's done, you're going to love it. And when we knock this out of the park for you, you're going to be the next 5-star famous rock star on the website giving me a testimonial.
And I think that's the part of it is like, I don't know, man. If you go to our Hardwood Floor YouTube channel, I don't know, we probably got 600-700 videos on there. And for us to show up and not make a video with probably throw up a red flag to a homeowner. What, my house ain't good enough? Or even now, if we're not asking for video testimonials, like what? Ain't we going to do any video testimonials and stuff? And like when we're there doing that Facebook video early in the morning, I'm hoping that they're there because that's when the homeowner is already used. I'm like, hey, Anthony, good morning, man. I'm showing everybody on the internet right now in this beautiful house and what we're doing for you right now. And they're like, hey, I'm like, get over here, man. It's like sometimes they're like, the 3 or 4 times when I've had the wife say she's shy and don't want to be in the video, and I'll screen over going, well, just at least say hi to them. Well, hello, and then they go off to where you can't. They almost don't want to stop talking. I'm like, hey, what happened to the? I'm too shy. I don't want to be on the camera thing right now. But yeah, I've never asked for anything. It's just I just push record and we get going. I'm not showing the address so people can show up and rob the house.
I have a clause in my contract that allows me to do it at any time. So if you just happen to be there, oops.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because in the speaking industry, the contracts that I used to have way back when, whether I was working for Blue Cross Blue Shield or Ford or even NASA, it's like at the end of the presentation, if you're satisfied with everything, and we for people, boom, you'll do a video testimonial and refer 3 clients that we can reach out to. And that was, and sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't, but it was talked about way before we even showed up. And even now doing, the construction stuff is like, hey, I got to get you on camera. Got to get you on camera. Oh yeah. All right, guys, we're out of here. We could go on forever. Anthony's got a big client he's getting ready to meet with in a whole different industry. Good luck with that. Let me know how that goes. Charlie,
Absolutely,
appreciate you being here, brother.
Charlie, it was good to hang out with you, man.
Thank you, brother. I need an autograph.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah,
I would love to have an autographed book, Anthony.
I will make sure it happens, man. Send me your address and I'll email you a hard copy.
I'll do it.
All right, guys, we're out of here.